Okay, I want to talk again about divorce. I said yesterday that there's always sin involved somehow in divorce, but I want to emphasize it's not the unforgivable sin, okay? The unforgivable sin is utter rejection of Jesus Christ. So if you are a Christian, you've gone through a divorce, God can indeed forgive you and will forgive you, all right? I also want to take a quick look at the bigger picture in the Bible about divorce. God himself got a divorce. He divorced Israel. Okay, and you can read about that in the book of Hosea and also in the Gospel of Matthew when says that God is taking the kingdom away from the Jews and giving it to somebody else. Essentially, God is going through a divorce. So, God had nothing to do, was not at fault, if you will, in that divorce. It was the people that were at fault, rejecting him. So, like when I say sin is involved somehow in divorce, I mean one of the partners sinned, okay? Somehow, all right? Or continued in sin, somehow. But there are innocent victims where the other spouse is the one who is sinning and you are left with, oh, in the same way that God did not do anything wrong and yet the other people did and rejected him and he eventually had to divorce them. All right, so just we need to keep that in mind. We also need to keep in mind that Paul says that if you are married to an unbeliever and the unbeliever says to you, depart, that you are free. You can leave the unbeliever and you are free. Okay, you are free to marry again. You don't have to feel bound to that relationship. However, Paul and the New Testament also says, essentially, but if you can stay in that relationship, somehow, relying on the grace of God, then you should do so because maybe you might win over your spouse. But if the spouse says, that's it, it's over, then you are free to depart. And I think that this can apply to some Christian couples where one member of the couple is treating the other one like, I don't want you here anymore, particularly if there's abuse, physical abuse going on. You know, I don't want you here anymore, get out of here. Whether or not they've said the words depart or not, if their actions are saying depart, then perhaps it is okay to get a divorce in that instance. As I say, this is a very complicated subject because God, the Bible does say God wants us to live at peace. So if you're in a household and all you ever do is fight, then perhaps divorce is permissible. So I say all these perhapses because we live in a very complex world, which is not the world of the New Testament, where you just said, I divorce you 3 times and the marriage is over. So, you know, all these different factors come into play here. And it's hard to say whether a divorce is okay in God's eyes or not in any given situation. We try as pastors to search the Bible to give answers, but it is hard. But one thing we know for sure is that God's desire is that a couple stay together. And when I'm doing marriage counseling, I always say that. It's God's desire that you stay together. So we will help you try to work through your problems so you can stay together. But if it becomes evident that you can't stay together, then, then we'll have to deal with that. So that's about all I can say about divorce in the time allotted. So we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.